everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. We couldn't be more thrilled that you are here. I'm going to wait a couple of minutes while people file in. A couple of housekeeping items. This webinar is being recorded. It will be sent out. If you have questions, please drop them in the Q&A section so our lovely assistant Kate today can help us get those Q&As answered for you. But as we are waiting for people to file in, I live in Dallas, Texas, so it does not feel like fall to me right now because it is a lovely 90 degrees. But would love to hear everyone's fall activities. Been drinking all of the pumpkin spice I can. So in the chat, let me know what your fall favorite is. Jim, do you have a fall favorite?
I'm actually drinking some nice tea myself right now, and it is a little overcast and was rainy this morning. I'm in Tennessee.
Okay. So you're getting a little bit more
Just a little
fall-like
bit
than
of
me.
fall. Yeah, my backyard is full of leaves right now, so I need to get busy this weekend, I'm sure. So
Yeah. Awesome. I'm gonna wait just one more minute. I still see that number ticking up here as people are filing in. Um, yes, we're really excited to kick off for the day. All right. I'm gonna get started here and people can catch up when they join. My name is Tori Hoppy, Head of Partnerships, and I am joined today by Jim Hardman, EVP of Product over at Zocks. And we couldn't be more excited to officially launch the integration between our two companies. We know that this has been something that you, the advisors, have been requesting. So we were really excited to officially announce that, 2 weeks ago, and then
That's right.
get to show it off to you guys today. So I will let Jim take the reins from here. But yeah, again, we at Holistiplan couldn't be more thrilled for this partnership and integration and to show it off to you guys today.
Thanks, Tori. Totally agree. It's been a fun working with such a great organization like Holistiplan, and so appreciative of your partnership and our growing friendship over the last couple of months. It's just been fantastic. You guys have an amazing team, and this is a hotly requested integration, and so it's been really fun to work on this, and it's going to be fun showing it off today. So thanks for your partnership. Um, and thanks for putting this together for the team and you guys organizing this. We really appreciate that. So I'm assuming that there's probably a mixture of people in the audience that maybe know Zocks and don't know Holistiplan. Maybe some folks that know Holistiplan but don't know Zocks. So I'm going to take a little bit of time to introduce Zocks. I've got a handful of slides to show a little bit of grounding and background on who we are and what we are. We both, Tori and I, are going to demo our respective tools, and we're going to largely focus on the integration points and kind of some of the workflows that can be enabled. It's not going to be an exhaustive demo for either of our platforms. Certainly happy to connect you all with salespeople or product experts on our team if you want a deeper dive on Zocks, but we will do a little bit of tour when we take a look at it. By way of background, Zocks was started a little over 3 years ago, and we officially launched in February of 2024. So we're coming up on 2 years here, but it's been an amazing growth for us. We're currently working with a little over, actually closer to 3,000 firms now. The slide's a little bit out of date. We need to update it, but we've had an amazing growth over the last 2 years, and we are what is known as an AI assistant built specifically for financial services. So we largely work with everywhere from small or independent RIAs and broker dealers all the way up to large enterprises and mid-sized firms and everything in between. We largely focus on broker dealers and RIAs, but we have a growing number of insurance customers and a growing number of people that provide tax planning and tax advice. as well as obviously different firms that have, tax as a service within maybe their financial planning and wealth management group. So this is the only industry that we focus on, and we've been able to enjoy some great response back from the market and our growth, but also some of the awards that we've won over time. The reason we exist is that we firmly believe that advisors spend far too much time doing administrative work, and we really saw an opportunity for tackling that those manual administrative work and leveraging AI and building a platform specifically to address a lot of the inefficiencies that we see in practices on a daily basis, not only for advisors but for the teams that are supporting those advisors. So probably not news to anybody that's here that's in this day to day, but a lot of the data that comes from KITS's and other studies that we're noting here that advisors can spend, for every hour you're spending meeting with a client, there's a lot of work that's prior to that meeting as well as after that meeting. It can be as much as 45 to 60 minutes for every hour that you're spending with your clients. So that could be meeting prep, that can be researching, that can be doing data entry, preparing plans, and then just doing things like CRM updates and sending follow-ups after the meeting. Advisors that get into crunch time, and there's a lot of surge meetings that are back to back to back, that just can be compounded on top of that. So we'll talk a lot about how Zocks can help both a pre and post meeting follow-ups. But we know that just meetings aren't the only thing that's happening during the day. You're getting emails and phone calls. So advisors are spending a considerable amount of time either answering those or researching in order to answer those inbound emails. And then another area that we focus on is just forms automation and workflows. And so the back and forth it takes to get information from clients, to process that information and start to fill out forms in order to enable downstream workflows. All of that can be quite time consuming and obviously very manual in nature today. So that's exactly what Zocks is focused on. We're focused on automating as much of that day-to-day work so that advisors have more time to focus on their clients, obviously build relationships, and ultimately grow AUM. We started as a meeting assistant, or what is commonly known as an AI note taker, when we initially launched, but that's evolved since we've launched to a platform that focuses on a number of different areas. So we'll take a look at the Zocks meeting assistant today and how it can help from meeting prep as well as automated note taking, keeping your CRM up to date, creating tasks, just sending out follow-up emails. But we'll also take a look at how our email agent can help you automatically respond to emails, inbound emails. And through our integration with Holistiplan, you'll see that we can leverage the information that they make available throughout all of these different workflows that we can automate. We'll also take a look at a forms capability that we have, pulling information from Holistiplan and making that available so that you can put that into CRM or to other workflows. And then if we have time towards the end, we might take a little bit of look at our insights and what we call meeting scorecards. Some unique things about Zocks is that we're a no recording solution. So there is no audio or video file that is a result of either using Zocks with a virtual meeting, a phone call, or a face-to-face conversation. So there is no recording. We're doing what's called live transcription. So at the end of the meeting or the conversation, you're going to have a transcript as well as meeting notes, but no audio or video file. And we find that that's quite helpful from a compliance standpoint, but also certainly helps clients feel more confident and open to sharing their information without having a recording. So that's a little background on Zocks and where we're going. I think one thing that really sets us apart in the design is that the depth of our integrations, and all of them are two-way integrations. So you'll see today that we can not only push information over to Holistiplan, but we can also pull quite a bit of information from Holistiplan to enrich things like meeting preparation, to email automation to forms automation and pulling data and insights right into the daily workflows for the advisor. Zocks also makes leverage the rest of your tech stack. So the more things that you connect Zocks to on the left-hand side here, the more rich understanding of the client relationship that we have, and therefore we can do more and more detailed and exact automation on the right-hand side. So Zocks has access to client conversations, obviously, that have been analyzed by Zocks, but we also have access to things like e-money or Holistiplan, pulling information from there. We have integrations with portfolio management systems, CRM systems, and then connected to calendar and email. And all of that provides us a rich contextual understanding of the client in order to empower some of these workflows downstream. So I'm going to switch gears and let's take a look at Zocks. Looks like we've got a question about what CRMs we integrate with. So let's actually start there. So I'm going to go into the profile settings, and both Tori and I wanted to show a little bit about how you get started with Holistiplan. So if you're a current Holistiplan user, or if you sign up for a demo, it's quite easy to get started. Once you're logged into Zocks, you can go down to this help file here, and we have a Holistiplan kind of document here. So very detailed instructions on how to link your accounts and then how to use the integration. So it's quite easy to get started by just accessing, again, this little purple call out button, and you can either search on Holistiplan, but it should be the article at the top. And then you're going to go to this second tab for integrations, and then you're going to scroll down until you see Holistiplan, and you're going to connect your accounts. It's going to pop up and it's going to ask you for your username and password in Holistiplan. You're going to click on that and connect to Holistiplan. So just a little bit of information on how we leverage your credentials here. It's encrypted. We can't see those credentials, but we do utilize those credentials when we access information in Holistiplan. So Zocks can't see or do anything in Holistiplan that you couldn't do if you were directly logged into Holistiplan. A couple other things you can do when you're getting Zocks set up. So as I mentioned earlier, Zocks can be used with phone calls. So you can connect like a mobile number, a landline, or even a voice over IP system. So you can use Zocks to take notes on phone calls. We support all the major virtual meeting platforms. And then we support a number of different calendar and email, primarily Google and Outlook. As I mentioned, we also integrate with e-money, and we have Right Capital coming here in a couple of weeks. We also integrate with Orion for portfolio management reporting, and then obviously Holistiplan, which for the webinar here today. One of the chat sessions asked what other CRMs we connect to, so I'll just show those real quick here. Wealthbox and Redtail, obviously, lots of different flavors of Salesforce and different overlays for Salesforce. But we also support Zoho, HubSpot, Dynamics, Smart Office, and most recently, Advisor Engine. And then we also connect with Precise FP, which is another integration point that Precise has with Holistiplan as well. So I'm going to start over here in our meeting hub. And I'm going to click on past meetings. On past meetings, you can think of this as an inbox for all of the meetings that have been analyzed by Zocks. And again, whether that's a virtual meeting, a phone call, or a face-to-face conversation. If I was in a supporting role, so we have different permissions. So if I was, let's say I was a support person and I'm supporting a number of other advisors, or maybe I'm doing joint work with other advisors, we have teaming capabilities and collaboration capabilities, so I can filter and view other team members. This is totally optional. You can have no sharing, you can have everybody sharing, or you can pick and choose specific users to share with. I'm going to drill into this discovery call. And so Tori and I have this fictitious couple that we are working with, Peter and Paula Reynolds. And this is a discovery call that I had with them. We have a number of different meeting types and templates. This happens to be one that I've customized and built that's around a discovery meeting template. And this template has a huge emphasis on collecting personal data, goals, concerns, kind of priorities, and then defining next steps as part of the planning process. So we've met with Peter and Paula, and you can see some things around kind of what the date and timestamp is, the participation. You can see that their contacts in my Redtail CRM. They've consented to using Zocks as an AI assistant. And then everything below here is all of the notes that were generated by Zocks coming out of that conversation. So everything you see here was automatically extracted and summarized while analyzing the transcript of that conversation. And all of this is totally template driven. So some organizations prefer, concise and bullet points. Others can prefer a little bit more verbose and paragraphs. So all of this is completely customizable, but we do ship with a number of out-of-the-box templates. So a little bit about our meeting we had. We have a meeting purpose, kind of what the outcome was, which was to move forward as in a planning engagement. We have some background on the family. You can see with an emphasis on capturing things like birth dates, how long they've been living in their particular area, their children, what they're up to regarding college and high school, what they do for a living, things that they do for recreation and life events, and then some of their current money, assets, liabilities. So all of that summarized as uncovered in the conversation. And then some things to start thinking about from a planning perspective. So one of the things that they mentioned is that Paula is self-employed and she hasn't been saving for retirement at this point, and they're concerned about the trade-off between saving for retirement and college funding as the children are getting closer and closer to going to college. So one of the things that they're going to ask us to do is to model what it would look like to implement a SEP IRA. And we'll see that in Holistiplan and what the impact is on their taxes and profit on the business. So pretty standard conversation here. So lots of information about college funding, around retirement planning, their discussion and want to see something around a SEP IRA, and then also some high-level information about their portfolio. Zocks will also capture if there was a future meeting agreed to. In this conversation, we actually did agree to get back together, but not on a specific date and time. If this had a specific date and time, you'd be able to click on that and schedule it directly in Outlook. All of this summary information can be saved into your CRM. So in this case, I've got Redtail set up, and I would be able to save that to my the contacts in Redtail. If you're using Redtail and you have other notifications or team members, you can notify them that this has been updated. All of this is completely editable, so it's up to you to decide, kind of what you want from a books and records standpoint. And then once it's published into Redtail, it's locked down as part of your books and records here in Redtail in this instance. So quite easy to come out of a conversation. All of this is editable. Anything that you want to edit, you can do that. And then it's quite easy to save it and sync it into Redtail. You can save it as a note or an event in Redtail. We also generate automatically follow-ups and tasks and action items coming out of the conversation. So again, those are quite easy to pick and choose which tasks I want to create and save it to my head of household. If you're using like Wealthbox or others that have the householding concept, you can synchronize and also save it to the household. In this case, Redtail has contacts. And then the last thing I'll show here is that we've got this follow-up email that's been drafted automatically by Zocks. Again, this is template driven, so it's quite easy to make it less formal, more bullet points. It's totally configurable, but we do have out-of-the-box templates for follow-up emails. And I'll just show real quick sending that to the clients here. So it's quite easy. I can make edits right here. I can save it as a draft in Outlook and come back and touch it in Outlook later, or I can just go ahead and send it directly to the client. So that's what I just did here. I've got Peter set up as a Gmail account set up for Peter, and you can see here that it came through. So here's the information. While I'm here, just kind of to play along with our demo and our demo here with the Reynolds family, I'll just put in I'll return the tax return here, and then I'll turn it over to Tori to kind of take us through the next part of the demo.
Yeah, thanks so much. So, as Jim had mentioned in that preliminary call with the family, Paula wants to see what a SEP IRA can do for them. So, as he mentioned, he has collected that return from the client, and you, the advisor, have now plugged it into Holistiplan. So what we would have here is you would build the household for the client. And I've done most of this work, legwork for us, so we can have more time at the end for questions. So here is Peter and Paula Reynolds. We could actually pull them through Redtail if we wanted. So again, if you have a Redtail integration, you can pull them through. One stop that I wanted to show before we hop into the household is in order to have the integration work, not only are you enabling it on Zocks' site, but you're going to have to enable it in your Holistiplan site. So you'd go up to settings, click integrations, and then scroll down to Zocks and hit disable to enable. So you'll see it turns green, and now you are set to use that integration. So I am going to hop back into my households, go to Peter and Paula. If you needed to upload their tax return, um, you would hit upload return here, choose the year that it would be. So most current year is 2024. You've got a couple of options, but you have collected that return from the client. So you would just drag and drop it from here, hit upload, and then that return will show right here for you in their household. And so we're going to click quickly look through their report. So yes, she had mentioned that SEP IRA, but is there anything else that the client should be looking at for their tax breakdown for the next year? So you, the advisor, are now going to be able to go through the tax report with the client. The top part, if you aren't a user already, is the key figures box. So what did that return do for the clients for the previous year? Just a really quick snapshot for that. And then as you come down this report, you're going to see these really great breakouts of every line on that return. We also have these really great graphics that you get to go through with your client. So scrolling through here quickly, I apologize if anyone gets motion sickness at my scrolling skills. I know that I don't love when I scroll super fast, but I do want to get to the fun stuff of the webinar. So again, breaks down line by line for you the report. We've got the long-term cap gains, qualified dividends. Again, it's going to show you a really nice graphic for the client to understand your Schedule A's, your Schedule B's, which is also a really fun source, especially since this client is new, right? You've had that preliminary conversation with them. You did all that data collection. You've got the return in hand. You're looking at it, but maybe they never told you about this Schwab account that they had. So you can make note of that to bring up into your follow-up conversation with them of be like, hey, by the way, this Schwab account came up on your income sources. Do you know what this is? So you can kind of open up that conversation with them. Also, cap gains and losses will be calculated for you. The efficiency of the investments, the modified adjusted growth income. This is this piece of the technology that we poured a lot of work into over the year that we made updates to the tax side of things. So this is a really great breakdown for you and the clients to really understand their magi and their planning considerations that they need to be doing for that. Deductions and credits, and then this is where it gets really fun. And I know, how do you say taxes and fun in one sentence and keep a straight face? I don't know how I do it still. But this is actually where it gets really fun. You get to actually have that open conversation about their tax planning needs, right? So these observations is everything that they could be doing better for the following year. So you would go through these items, and again, we've already flagged the SEP IRA for the client, but that is actually brought up here on um, the client. So right here, it does say, they would be a good candidate for the SEP IRA. So again, having that conversation with both of them, would you like to see what this would do? Yes, would love to see how this plans out. So how we do that would be using our next piece of the technology, which we call our scenario analysis piece. And this is where everyone gets to go on a fun roller coaster while I scroll back up. And our scenario analysis piece is where you get to bring those observations to life. So being able to show your clients exactly what those different observations will do for them is what you're going to build here. So that first scenario is always going to be the tax year, the latest tax return that you have logged for that client. So that it'll be I should say 2024 but I changed this around. So apologize that my years are off. But it'll be the most current year for the client. Return that you have. And then after that, you would just hit this add scenario button. And then you have a couple of options on how to create that scenario. I always say copy from a scenario because no one likes to hand enter data. So then you can decide which one you want to pull through. Always choose the one that is for that tax return, click on it, and it'll create a new scenario piece for you. So you can see here, scenario 4 is listed. So I've already gone out and built out these two options. So as you mentioned in the notes that Jim had with this client, they suggested anything between $8,000 and $10,000 would be a good stepping off point for them, just so that they, again, can get their feet wet doing the SEP IRA for Paula because she is a sole proprietor of, I believe, a bakery is how we set her up
I think
this.
she's the food blogger.
Oh, the food
Paula's
blogger.
palette.
Yes.
Yes,
Paula's
Paula's palette.
Palettes. Um,
Uh,
food blogger. So yes, we wanted to make sure that she can continue with this amazing food blogging career and also fund her retirement because who doesn't want to retire? So I have started to build this out. So we did two options, the $8,000 and the $10,000. So again, not a big difference between the two, but could have some good impacts on their tax planning needs. So um, you're going to choose the year, the calculation. So what Holistiplan has done is we give you options of current tax law or sunsetting of the TCJA, which we know has been extended. But again, if you are a doom prepper, you can say, nope, I don't want to plan on what the tax law is currently. I want to see what this does when they all sunset. I always choose current law because that is what is most current and how we can plan for you know today planning. So as you can see, we've got these little worksheets here, and you are going to come down to the Schedule A above the line. And my window is not big enough for me to, there we go. And you're going to click the expand button and you are going to find the self-employed plans and you're going to click that worksheet and you're going to plug in that $8,000 contribution that she wants to make to this potential SEP IRA that she wants to open up. So now it's going to calculate the max SEP contributions, the solo 401k contributions, and the max simple IRA contributions that she can make, and it'll tell you the self-employment tax that she's going to have to that she is potentially up for. So you're going to close that, and what's really great is now you can see it here, and we've done the same build out for the $10,000 for her, and you can start going through here. So I want to show that now you are kind of pulling down the adjusted growth, the deductions for them. So now you can see this one's for 11,000, this one's for 13,000, and the previous year was $3,000. So again, makes a really big impact for the client. It starts to pull down their taxable income. So the taxable income for the previous year was 179 and change. If they did 8,000, they're at 166 and change. And if they do 10, it's 164 and change. So again, having those conversations of like, you're pulling down your taxable income, you're staying within the same tax bracket, all of those fun conversations. And again, yes, I've used fun and taxes for the second time in this webinar. Uh, being able to have those open conversations about what those tax planning needs are for your clients. So once you have this conversation with them, you can have a heart to heart with them. It's like, okay, do you want to open this SEP IRA, and how much do you want to fund for it? So um, again, you pulled all of that information out of that informal meeting that you had with them. All Zocks collected all of that data for you. You were able to plug in that data, and now you can go back to the client when they come into your office for their follow-up conversation. That as we were talking, Jim was building out emails to send to those clients with the follow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really cool that all of this kind of weaves together there. So he's going to now show you kind of that last step of
Then
like that follow-up email.
fantastic. Okay. Let me go back and share. So while Tori was doing that, Peter and Paula actually got together and started talking about our initial call with them, and understanding that we're getting ready to meet with them to review kind of the set. But in the meantime, they sent us a question. You can see here, I just sent that a few minutes ago. So they're excited to get together and look at the plan, excited to start looking at the SEP IRA being modeled, and then ask a question, can you remind us when we're getting together again? And then they also wanted to ask about if we could also analyze what would be the impact if she were to lease a vehicle for the business with 50% use for business and 50% for personal, and asked if we could also take a look at what the impact would be on taxes in anticipation of us getting together again. So as I mentioned earlier, Zocks is much more than just a note taker. We also have this email agent that you can utilize Zocks to attach to your Gmail account or your Outlook account. And what it will do is you can set up different rules to be able to monitor emails coming in from clients. And because we have all of the connected data from everything from their CRM to now Holistiplan to e-money, what have you, all of those data sources are available. And so Zocks can actually go out and based on the type of email that comes in, it can understand that this is a client, understand who the client is in the CRM, and then start to look for data in all the different connected systems to answer this question. So you can see here, here's the email that came in that they're looking for what the impact would be for leasing a vehicle. And Zocks has gone off and looked at a number of things. So it's looked at the calendar. So it's the first question was, we're scheduled to get together on Thursday, October 10th at 9:30 a.m. And you can see that we've cited the reference to that is it's looking at the calendar. And we already know that the agenda for that check-in or that meeting is going to be intake review and the tax review. And it's also that part of that, we know that the discussion around the SEP IRA is going to be modeled. And then it took the second question and it started utilizing the information that it found in Holistiplan based on the Schedule C net profit, the marginal tax bracket, and then the 50% use for the vehicle. So it went through and figured out that the estimated annual tax savings could be around $660 with some other considerations. And that we can dive into that more deeply when we get together on our check-in call on Thursday. So, Zocks, I didn't touch anything. Zocks did this automatically just by that email being sent in by Peter. It went off and utilized the information that it could find in the various sources. In this case, there's a lot of information that we utilize, obviously, from Holistiplan to get some basic information. And then the engine did some basic calculations and laid that out here. So pretty cool automation. We're seeing that, people that have like just a minimum set of connected apps, we're answering about 50% of emails with the detail they need. But once you start to add things like Holistiplan or e-money or Orion, we're getting closer to 80% of emails that we're able to answer. And again, this is a draft, so this wasn't sent out. I can edit this. I can choose to not use it. I can pick and choose. I can push that into my Outlook and just save it there for for another time, or I can actually just go ahead and send that as is right back to the client, and it would be sent back through my Outlook account. So any archiving and supervising of emails that goes through your systems, if those get archived and saved in your CRM, all of that would happen automatically through my integration with Outlook in this case. So really cool automation. The nice thing about this is that you could see all of the references that we're making. So we're trying to make it very transparent where that information came from, so that if you need to go log into those kind of other systems to confirm, you've got very clear instructions on how to do so. So Tori, we've met with our clients, we've modeled the SEP, we've answered an email that they had before we got together. So let's go ahead and prep for that meeting. So I'm looking forward on my calendar now. So Zocks has, because it's integrated with my calendar, I can look in a rolling 2 weeks forward. And I've got a number of meetings coming up. And so we have an intake data and tax review with the Reynolds scheduled. So let's go ahead and prepare for that meeting. So totally different templates, but you can have these can be very detailed or concise. And again, because we're connected, I'm actually pulling information from my calendar. I'm pulling from the meeting, that discovery call that we had with the clients. I've got some information in Redtail post meeting. I've got their household and contacts set up. And then I've obviously got all of my data from Holistiplan. So let's take a look at what Zocks pulled together. And again, that's a single click of a button going out to all of those applications and pulling information together. So I've pulled in information about who are we meeting with. So it's looked up based on who was on the calendar and their email address. It's looked up in the CRM and it's pulled some information about them. So if they've got nicknames, middle names, or just preferences, how they want to be addressed, all of that can be pulled from the CRM. I've also pulled the details about when was the last time we met. So we met for our initial discovery call on October 2nd. These are the high level summary of what we talked about. And again, that's pulling from past conversations. I've also pulled in any recent emails that we've had. And so these may be in my CRM. The data might be reflected somewhere, maybe not, maybe it's just in email. In this case, here, I'm reminded that Peter had sent us an email asking about modeling the 50/50 use on the leased vehicle at 500. So we're prepared to have that discussion. We know that they provided their tax return in a more recent email. I saw in the QA that you never want to email your tax return. So totally understand that was just for illustrative purposes to show that. But we did receive that email, and that they confirmed that they were getting ready for our conversation. We can also pull together a snapshot of like what the client details, so it can remind us of who they are, how long they've been married, just basic contact information, children's ages, hobbies, interests, all of those types of things. We can summarize things like the financial summary and goals. And again, we're referencing all of this. And if this was a client that we've been working with for years, and we also have maybe an e-money financial plan, or we have portfolio data in Orion, all of that information would also be pulled in automatically. So you can see down here, there's nothing I'm connected to Orion, but this client's not in Orion at this point. So there's nothing being pulled here. But I am pulling together all of the information from Holistiplan in this case. So when Tori did her analysis and did the tax plan or the tax report, it generated all of this information. So now I've got this at my fingertips within Zocks, so I can pull all that in. It's available to view kind of at my fingertips. Based on past conversations and knowing kind of the email exchanges, we've got an agenda, proposed agenda that Zocks generated. We've got things like, just how to break the ice and get started. So ask how their daughter's doing in their freshman year at Boise State. So it reminds you of that past conversation. There's some financial things. So they've given it more thought to their savings. Are they still thinking about leasing a vehicle? What's the decision there? And then any open tasks that are left over from the last conversation. So, this is a very robust and detail-oriented meeting prep. Again, click of the button. We're looking forward 2 weeks on your calendar. It's very easy to run that and get prepared for the meeting. We'll even generate an email prior to the meeting. So if you want to send that out, reminding them of the meeting, what the agenda was, it's all available for you. One of the other cool touch points that we have with Holistiplan is our Zocks AI assistant. We call this our Ask Anything. And so because I'm terrible typer, I'm just going to cut and paste my question in here. But this would be another way that we can utilize Holistiplan's data. And so the Zocks AI assistant will show up in a number of different places across the Zocks platform. So in this case, I'm in the context of a meeting prep, but it's also available within a meeting summary. You can go into the contact record. It's available in a number of different places to help you. So in this case, I asked it, what is the breakdown for their total itemized deductions? So down here, we had total itemized deductions were 42,000, but I don't have the actual underlying detail. I mean, you can see here that this all got pulled from their most recent tax return. So there's the breakdown, including things that they're not taking deductions on, like medical expenses. So just another cool integration point. This can be, you can tell Zocks to, maybe add this to the agenda, or maybe you want to include this as part of the notes, or maybe you want to tell Zocks to add a question about this particular detail as part of your agenda. So very, very functional to look up information as well as take action on the agenda itself. And you're doing that all from this view. Another cool way you can utilize this is that while we're preparing for the meeting in advance, this actually becomes available in our live meeting view. So you can have this information while you're on a Zoom call or maybe a face-to-face conversation in a conference room if they're visiting your office. We also have a native plugin for Zoom. So it's only visible to you as the advisor because you're driving the conversation. But you can also have all of this meeting prep and detail, including the Ask Anything as a sidebar, visible in Zoom. So if you're in the middle of a conversation and you need some information about deductions, for instance, you can ask Zocks in the moment and we'll go off and find that information, whether that's in Holistiplan, eMoney, Redtail, what have you. We're going to pull back the best information to help answer that question in the moment. So another integration point there. The last thing that I'll show, and I know we're getting a little bit up on time, is that we also have this concept of form automation. So I just drilled into my contact Peter. So you can see here's any past meetings I've had with this contact, any emails that I've had. We start to dynamically build a client profile over time. Some of that data can come from meeting, maybe it comes from CRM, maybe it comes from an email that comes in. But you can also do things like we have this form fill. So what I did was I created a custom form that pulled all of the details that's available from Holistiplan here. And I'm pulling that into it in the context of Peter. So I ran the form for Peter. It went out to Holistiplan. And you can see all of this data is coming directly from the Holistiplan analysis. Lots of people are building these forms on the Zocks platform, and this can be very easily saved to CRM. It could be exported to PDF. You can also map every one of these fields to a custom field in your CRM. So if you have a tax planning team or a tax practice that wants to come in and maybe pick up the ball like Tori did behind me and start doing some analysis, and they need this level of data, in some other system, it's very easy for us to pump this data into a particular field or object in the CRM or any other custom application or workflow you would need. It's totally up to you how you dream that you might be able to utilize that. So that's our demo today. We showed capturing meeting notes for our discovery call with the Reynolds. We showed modeling a SEP IRA. We showed answering an email utilizing all of the analysis that Holistiplan did, and even the ask anything in the moment. So really excited about the integration that we have here, and excited to see what advisors do with it. So just a couple more follow-up slides. I know there was a number of questions about other things that Zocks integrate with. We can save some of that to the Q&A, but we covered quite a bit here, and I showed some of those connection points. I think a lot of people are asking us, what does this actually mean from a productivity and kind of ROI standpoint? I will say that, I mentioned earlier that Zocks is saving advisors 10 plus hours a week. That's a number of different case studies that we've had with some pretty large customers, and it's been anywhere from 8 to 10, and in some cases more than 10 hours a week. And what we're seeing now is some patterns that are developing around, what are advisors doing with that extra time each week? What we're seeing is that many of them are being able to serve just more households because they have more capacity and more automation. We're also seeing a pattern where a lot of advisors are starting to spend more and more time with their tier two, tier three clients and uncovering more opportunities and ways to serve them. And then certainly we're seeing people starting to add more services beyond just financial planning. So estate planning, tax, and insurance are all areas that we're seeing additional services being offered. So obviously the tax services and our partnership with the Holistiplan team is super excited. So last we'll pause here and we'll transition into Q&A, but couple different exciting offers that we have here. If you're an existing Holistiplan user and want to try Zocks out, we actually have a Holistiplan 10 discount code, so you can sign up for a free trial by going to our website. Once you sign up and put in Holistiplan 10, you're going to put down a credit card to get that free trial. And then if you do convert, you'll get 10% off your annual subscription there. If you're not quite ready to sign up for a free trial, you can certainly book a demo with our team, and we're happy to do a deep dive like I did today and be more maybe specific to your CRM or other tools in your environment. And then if you're an existing Holistiplan and Zocks user and you need to either learn more or just need some help with setup, please reach out. Happy to help. We're here to make you successful. And Tori, you want to talk a little bit about the offer that you all have for Zocks users?
Yeah, so if you hit that QR code, that will get you a 7-day free trial plus a 10% off your first year of Holistiplan with us. So that discount code will take you direct to our book a demo if you haven't. If you don't need a demo and you just want to go direct to trial, it'll also give you that option as well. So again, we couldn't be more excited for this partnership. We work with some of the best advisors, and we know that the Zocks team works with some of the best advisors too. So excited to bring this to you all. I know we've got a couple of questions in the Q&A box that Kate has not been able to get to. So let's read some of these off. Um, do, do, do. Is John asked, the templates look really detailed and has great information. Is there a template library to choose the same sections that are shown?
Yeah, that's actually something that we're pretty close to making available. Think of it almost as an app store where you could go and select different templates from either meetings or emails or even forms. It's not quite ready yet, but our implementation team or support team is happy to deploy any of those templates. I have, obviously it's a demo environment, so I've got quite a bit in here, but any of these meeting templates, form templates or email types, any of those things can be easily dropped into other environments. And our team is also quite available to help tweak templates. You can clone these templates, you can make derivatives of them. Most people start with the system templates out of the box. But you can see here, I've created quite a few off of them just to model different ways to work with clients. So John, you can reach out to me or reach out to our support team. Use that chat function down here, reach out to message us and just say, I need help with templates, happy to help.
Awesome. And I know we got a couple, I'm going to lump them all together because they kind of are under the
So
same umbrella. A lot of compliance. How do you have to get compliance for every conversation that you're having with a client to record? I know you guys probably get this question answered
yep.
or asked of you a lot. So we'll just get the compliance
Yeah.
question out of the way.
Yeah. So number one, Zocks does not record. And so there is no audio or video artifact. There's nothing to save. There's nothing to archive. There's nothing to supervise. There is no recording, period. So there, it doesn't trigger a single, it's not a two-party consent. However, it's best practice certainly to ask the client for their consent to use an AI note taker to analyze, not record, but analyze the conversation. And we have a number of different capabilities. So one, you can rely on verbal consent. Two, we have a pop-up message. We have an image. We can drop a quick note in the chat for a Zoom call. There's an audio message that you can enable that will just play when the client joins the call. So there's a number of features that you can turn off and on. Um, we can also, you also have the ability to archive and supervise the transcript itself. So in a system like Smarsh or Global Relay, things like that, much like you do for text messages or emails, if you want the transcript in those systems, it can't be altered. It can be also archived and supervised. You also have full control over what lives and the time to live on the Zocks platform. So you can set and say, let's say you want the transcripts to live 30 days, and then you want them deleted, and then you want the meeting summaries to live for 90 days before they're deleted. We do perform hard deletes, so it can't be recovered. There's nothing to be able to restore. And so what a lot of firms that are really compliance focused, they'll give a 2 to 3 week window for advisors to process the notes and move that, say, into their books and records, which is typically CRM. We have other firms that plan on keeping it all on our platform for 7+ years. So it can totally run the gamut, and we literally have 20 different knobs that you can turn on and off depending on your comfort level. We have white papers that explain all of those. Happy to dive into it deeper if you reach out.
Awesome. Yeah. And again, compliance can be scary, but I know the team there has done their due diligence. You guys are
Yeah,
also all SOC 2 certified. So, and I
yeah.
know I'm sure that's all acronyms that advisors have heard spoke at them, but just, yeah,
Yes,
they,
SOC 2 Type 2 certified. So very important that you look for a solution that has that. It's what it is an independent third party that goes through all of your data security, privacy, not only for your platform, but your company and background for employees. So it's really important that you find solutions that have that certification.
yep. And then I'll end it on this last question. A lot of Kyle had asked, will Zocks integrate with the tax letter portion of Holistiplan? So the good news is this is V1 MVP. We wanted to get this out the door to advisors.
Totally.
So this is not the last time or the only integration iteration that this integration will have. So yes, future state, if you guys have ideas
Mhm.
or requests, please send them to both of our teams. We take all of that, and once we kind of have some good data points, that's when we start building V2. So
Yep.
yes, know that this is not the only way that this integration will look. We just wanted to get an MVP out there to tackle the masses that had asked for it first. So I'm very excited to continue to grow and to build with the Zocks team. Jim, thank you again for joining us today.
Thank you, Tori.
The Holistiplan team again is really excited about this. Um, yeah, and we can't wait to continue to grow.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks, Tori. Thanks, team.
bye.
Bye.